Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event. With your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
the Guru, back again from the lovely Apex Arena. We've got UFC Vegas 106 with a welterweight main event with Gilbert Dorino Burns and Michael Morales. Don't call him Spider-Man. We've got a banger of a card, a decent card, a solid card. Hell, we got some fights that we can bet on, boys. So that's really all we need, isn't it? But before we can get into this card, we got a very special guest. It's his first time ever on the podcast. He's up over 150 units the last 2 years, guys. And I'm not bullshitting you. Make sure you're checking out his podcast, the BTL broadcast. And make sure you're following one on BetMMA. Dravi. What is up? No, don't make that mistake. It is not Dravi, ladies and gentlemen. It is like gravy. Dravy, baby. What is going on, Dravy MMA? How are you feeling?
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on. I love to listen to you guys' podcast because it's always fun listening to it. Like, sometimes, when we all break down fight, it all sounds the same. Everybody's saying the same shit. But when we have some fun and we interact with people, that's what makes it fun to watch. So, yeah, I appreciate to be here, boys. And, I was kind of shitting on this card at first on Twitter. But after looking into it a bit more, I feel like there's some decent spots, especially moneyline-wise. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk about it and have some fun at the same time.
That's amazing. I did say we got Batman, baby. Let's go.
You certainly piqued my interest.
Purpose, dog. It's all on purpose. No, it's my new webcam. I need to fix that.
Listen, if you've got them, let's drink up. Got a little pineapple and tequila. You guys got it. You smoking it? Let's smoke it. If you're betting it, let's just get after it, boys. We're trying to make that money, trying to have a good time. I appreciate that, Dravy, because that is the truth of our show. We are not professional handicappers. We are not former MMA fighters. We are not collegiate wrestlers. We are just MMA degenerates that love to talk fights. And I think we're pretty decent at talking about them. So,
we're here to have an amazing time. You guys are just along for the ride. Make sure you're here with us live every Thursday. Sure, it's actually 9 p.m. this evening, but most of the time, hey, listen, we'll make exceptions when we got the right guests, right? And then it's always the best bets, the best guests, always free picks. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Thank you so much. We got Mushroom in the house. He'll always give all the individual shout-outs. How do you know Daz was coming to the party? Babe, wake up. The Guru's on. It's time to tune in. Dravy, lather me up in gravy, baby. Let's go. What is going on? Yes, one of our favorite guests. We're so happy to have him for the first time. So without further ado, what was it the Guru said before? Because we've got Gilbert Dorino Burns versus Spider-Man Michael Morales. It is plus 575 on the Dorino side, minus 850 for Spider-Man. And, oh, man, this is just going to be an absolutely, I think, a super interesting matchup. Now, what I take away, we're going big screen right away. That's it. In this matchup, I mean, Morales is going to be more than 10 years younger. He's got an 8-inch reach advantage, and he's 2 inches taller. And I know, listen, it's not been quite the year of the undefeated fighter. So there's definitely some tentativeness on my side. I'm not really trying to run out there and do a minus 850 in a parlay, max out anything in that way. But, when you look at it, Burns is just kind of, he's faced really tough competition, but he hasn't quite looked like that same guy that came out, took out Tyron Woodley confidently, wrestling, mixing in his striking for 5 rounds, finishing, legends of the game like Damian Maia with 1 punch. Wobbling Kamaru Usman in the early going. Yeah, he goes to war with Khamzat. It's just, the Bilal fight, the matchup with JDM where the guy fractures his hand in the first round and he gets all that control, but he just can't quite put it away. And now it's 5 rounds and it's against the guy. It's like, man, he's up against a lot here. So Morales, maybe he's not the fastest starter. Burns, he is dangerous. You can't really just wrestle this guy and get top control cleanly without having really high-level jiu-jitsu. I'm not quite sure Morales can just go out there and wrestle this guy. 2 places where I think he can stay safe at the end of his jab and using his kicks, and also a little bit of cage clinch and using his size and physicality to just wear on Gilbert Burns as the fight goes on. So, I mean, my projection is some type of over 3.5 at plus 100. Damn, that's like right where I can't figure it out. But we're not getting a submission on the Morales side. And I think that it's going to be round 3, 4, 5 knockout for Michael Morales. That's my little grandma's couch cushions because it's the main event and I need to do it. I think we're getting a knockout and I think it's coming in the last 3 rounds here. So yeah, minus 850 in this economy. Let's go, baby. It's nickname time. It's time for Spider-Man. So Guru, what do you got in this matchup here?
Well, to your point, 345 KO is plus 280. So that's not terrible when you're looking at a minus 850 favorite. And I want to play it. I don't want to get as dicey. I understand exactly what you're thinking because in my mind, at minus 850 and over 3.5, right, one of these lines has to be wrong, right? If he's this big of a favorite, you're telling me he's going to smash Gilbert Burns. And I personally, I'm on kind of the side of TB and like I kind of like overs here. I don't really love the 3.5 idea, especially when I can just say fight starts round 4 at minus 116. I think if this was a 3-round fight, we'd be looking much closer at a decision. All I need is to get to championship rounds, and from there, we'll figure it out. Yes, Michael Morales looked like a killer in his last fight, but that was also against the decrepit Neil Magny. And you can say what you want
about not nice, but it's probably true.
Right. It's not nice. And I love Neil, but like, you know, when you look at Gilbert's last fights, I mean, he takes a beating from Sean Brady, who's, I mean, has looked just absolutely incredible since losing to Bilal. Gilbert, who was beating and going to beat Jack Della Maddalena if he just chills the fuck out and circles out instead of shooting for another stupid takedown. And then, of course, the former champion Bilal Muhammad. And then you look at the Khamzat Chimaev fight. If he's surviving 3 rounds with Khamzat Chimaev, why can't he survive the same 15 minutes with Michael Morales here? That's just kind of how I feel about it. Is he done? Is he ready to lose 4 in a row, get finished in a main event spot? Is that it for Gilbert Burns? I don't necessarily think so. That being said, I absolutely do feel like he is most likely outgunned in this fight. So, especially the longer it goes, because I honestly, I'm not sure I have issues with Michael Morales. I know that Gilbert Burns gets tired. That I know.
Yep.
That I know. So without further ado, Dravy, what do you got for us?
Honestly, it's kind of a fight I think it's better to just pass on and take notes on the Morales side because, yeah, as you guys mentioned, he's a massive favorite, right? We normally don't see plus 575 on under Burns' name, and I just think there are such, you know, the career trajectory on both guys is kind of massive. We have Burns who fought for the belt, fought the killers, you know, getting older, his durability declining, cardio doesn't look as good and all that, right? So he made his money, he fought for the belt, he didn't win it. We have Morales who's undefeated, that's like his big fight, that's his coming up party. And to me, the difference is like Morales is a physical freak, man. I mean, the guy is such an athletic guy. I don't think Burns going to have an easy time taking him down. And on the feed, the thing with Morales is he's good at throwing, you know, straight shot down the middle. He has a good jab, and that's something that Burns historically has struggled with. Type of guy that get hit with like big hooks and he's fine, then get dropped by jabs. You guys know that. So I just feel like here it's a spot where Morales is just going to be too much for him. I think he's going to have too much power. And I feel like that might be the spot where Burns actually get finished. I feel like the GDM fight where, yeah, he looked good, but I mean, let's not forget that GDM broke an arm early in that fight, and, you know, you still find a way to knock him out later on. But I just feel like Morales is going to be too dangerous, too physical for him, but it's obviously not a hot take. He's a massive favorite, but if I were to bet this fight, I would actually go the opposite of you guys. I would bet the under instead of the over, just because I think that's how you're going to cover Morales' upside, which is finishing the fight. And personally, I don't think the fight's going to finish if it goes to round 4 and 5. Yeah, Burns could slow down, but I'm not sold on Morales' cardio later in the fight, and that's a step up. So if you look historically, he's normally getting finishes in round 1, round 2. That's normally where he does it. So I think that if he finishes, it's going to be under 3.5. And I feel like Burns always live to finish somebody. And if he does, that's also going to be in the first 3 rounds. So yeah, I think the under makes sense here, especially considering Burns' age. But I'm not sure I want to get involved. It's chalky and -130. It's not the worst, but as you guys mentioned, it's a big step up. So I'm not sure it's the best idea to bet on this fight. But I mean, the price is kind of crazy. If it's clearly dog or pass, if you want to bet the money line, don't bet Morales minus 800 in your parlays. But the under 3.5, that's kind of my lean if I were to bet this one personally. I think someone's probably going to get finished.
Not a bad thought there. Yeah. I'm definitely not doing anything of significance on this fight. The prices just seem a little difficult to maneuver.
You really do make an excellent point, Travy, and just that it's what the field is providing us. If they're shading that 3.5, right? It's like 3.5 over like plus 100. Like they want you to kind of that they're tantalizing you with that on purpose. I think you make an excellent point. And I guess that was kind of the beginning of my handicap. I just turned the wrong direction, right? I was like with a -850, they're saying he's gonna fucking kill him. Yeah. And to your point, Travy, like with what they're giving us, that is where the value is gonna be. But they're really, to your point, maybe there isn't as much value, which I think is fair at -850.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anywho, we'll move on to a fight with a ton of value. Rodolfo Trator Bellato -500. Just dripping with value.
Yeah, that was sarcasm, right?
Oh, yeah, just dripping with sarcasm and value on this fight. Paul Berju Craig, plus 380.
Craig!
Beautiful. I was just going to ask you for it. Thank you. That was amazing. Yeah, so once again, here we are faced with desperate decisions in a time where they probably have this thing figured out. It's the same thing. They're trying to tempt you into an over 1.5 at plus 100. They have the under 1.5 at -130, which, like a typical Bellato fight, a typical, Craig fight, it's not a bad idea. You do a little more digging. They've actually been to a couple overs as well. So I don't know. I don't really feel the necessity to go crazy on this fight, but hey, I'm talking to grandma. I'm gonna go digging in the couch cushions here. Realistically, it's gotta be Bellato knockout under 1.5 rounds. Or you're talking like a Paul Craig submission because it's a Paul Craig fight. And how do you not play a little bit on some type of submission? But realistically, Bellato's the pick. He's probably knocking him out handily. And, we move on to the main event after like 10 extra minutes of promo.
That's pretty fucking ridiculous. Yeah, you pretty much said it. The one thing you didn't say, which I appreciate you for not saying, is that we're seeing Paul Craig move back up to light heavyweight here, which is just kind of interesting. It's funny because I felt like the middleweight experience, while it didn't go well, like I thought it went decently. Like I was surprised to see it. And then I look and he really went 1-3 at middleweight. Like that experiment did not work out. So while at first I was kind of alarmed to see him moving back up, it's actually kind of maybe makes sense. Although he really did lose to the top of some of the really best in the division, top 10 in the division there at middleweight. Yeah, I kind of like the under as well, TB. In this fight, I think there's probably a finish. Paul Craig has just been somebody that, well, as I say that, I mean, Johnny Walker did kill him, but that's also up this weight class. You look at Brendan Allen and Kyle Bahalio, and then you look at Rodolfo Bellato, and you're like, well, who's the better fighter and better finisher? I mean, Kaio and Brendan are probably better finishers than Rodolfo, right? And and they both took to round 2 and round 3.
I don't know, though, because he's got 12 wins and 11 of them are by finish and 8 of them are in round 1.
This time, you know what? I sound like a fucking asshole. I don't like the under. I like the over. I talked myself into over 1.5. Dude, he doesn't even finish Ihor Peteria. It takes him to, I mean, he does, but it takes him to end of round 2. I'd cash the over 1.5 in that regard. Why not?
Dravy, we need your guidance.
Yeah, we need a little help, I think. We sound fucking crazy. What do you got?
I mean, it's not the fight I'm going to help you much, guys. This fight is just such a mess to me, when I posted my tweet on Twitter saying this card's a mess, it's one of the fight I was like, yeah, what do you want me to do with it? It's like Paul Craig's always live for submission, as we know. So his submission prop is like 7-1 if you want to sprinkle that. I think it's better than his money line because I think that's how you win. But the thing I would try to do if I were to bet this one is, yeah, like Dash just mentioned, he's just trying to fade a Bellato KO basically because Bellato's not going to submit him, I don't think. And then Paul Craig's not going to knock him out, right? And then I don't think Paul Craig's going to take him down. So we're going to need Bellato to go to his guard for Paul Craig to submit him. So if Bellato keep it on the feed, he's not like a KO1 guy, right? He's more of a pace guy. He break people late. So I think he's live to knock him out in round 2 and round 3. That's going to be like my prediction of what's going to happen. But I feel like the over in GTD could be sneaky if you look at it because Bellato is not the best finisher. And Paul Craig, I think he does 6-1 actually. It's pretty decent because I don't think Paul Craig's winning a decision.
No way. He doesn't land any damage. He's not a top control guy, and he doesn't land damage. So he's not winning a decision. You need Bellato to gas out or literally fall into a triangle.
Yeah, the thing though is like Bellato, I think has a really good cardio, and again he push pace late. And I think Paul Craig is really breakable, and he slow down, especially dropping down to 185. He's getting older, so I think Bellato KO 2-3, or you just sprinkle the Bellato decision 6-1. I think it's also pretty decent. But again, it's not a fight I'm passionate about, boys. There's gonna be more on this card that I like way more than this one. But I think Bellato is probably gonna find a kill shot at some point.
Yeah, my hope here is like going into the co-main and main event, we've kind of hit our mark, and we're happy to take a couple small props and hope for the best. But these last 2 fights should not be the make or breaker of your evening. And I hope. Oh, Justin! Oh, shout out to Justin. I haven't seen you in a while. Craig going out if it gets 2.5 rounds, we can see. Yeah, I mean, sure, of course. Ihor clown Bellato till he glass. Yes, he did. But Ihor's actually not that bad as we've seen. Craig will pull guard too. Yes, and it's like the Volkan Ozdemir fight. That was hilarious. Why can't we see that?
Yeah,
you're talking to me into the 6-1 little.
And you don't have to talk to me too hard because I was all by myself. I was on that Bo Nickel by decision at plus 600. I loved that play, and I bet to go the distance there. So I could absolutely see it here.
Wow. Are you guys sponsored by StreamYard?
No,
I'm just
the opposite. It's actually the opposite.
StreamYard is sponsoring us.
Yes. We pay for their sponsorship.
No, like
Oh no, it's the opposite. We use the free one, and that's why it's there.
Yeah, they started charging just an asinine amount per month, and I don't feel like changing hosts and stuff, but listen, that guy looks like Quang Bang Lee up in the corner. So shout out to our guy Quang Bang because that's a winner we'll keep in our heart forever. Bo Nickel decision was play safe.
Well, I bet it, so I don't. Maybe it was 850. I thought it was 600.
No good UFC wins. Well, even Paul Craig wouldn't be a legitimately great UFC win at this stage. Powered by StreamYard. That's right, baby. What warrants a minus 550 line? It doesn't, so don't parlay it.
Not here. In this fight, nothing. Other than just Paul Craig being a flake.
All right, we've got Super Sodiq Yusuff plus 114 versus the legend Myron Santos, not Marion Barber. Let's get it straight, people. Let's learn I before R means Myron. So I hope everyone's doing their best out there with pronunciation.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even notice that he's Myron Santos.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saving the guru from any future embarrassment. Minus 135 on the Santos side, plus 114 for Sodiq. Dravy, I hope you're ready. I want you to kick this one off. What do you got here?
Yeah, I am, because that's a fight where I posted Myron Santos as my free bet of the week. Got a ton of engagement on it. Some hate, some love. People saying, how can you bet this guy? He just lost to Francis Marshall and stuff like that. But first of all, it's always about matchup, right? So Marshall and Yusuff is two completely different matchup. You know, Marshall, ATT guy, young, durable, is going to push a pace, going to try to grapple, good cardio. Yusuff's a step up, though. He's a good fighter. He's skills, obviously a good striker. He's dangerous. He could grapple, but he doesn't really push a wrestling pace, and I don't think that's really on the table here. Santos' takedown defense is good enough anyway, so I think this one's going to play out on the feed, but there's a couple of things, right? So first of all, this fight's playing out at 155. Both these guys are 145er for all their career. Santos used to be at 135, move up to 145. So we see his body is growing as he's getting older, and he's only 24, so that's normal. And we have Sodiq, who's also moving up to 155. And I think it's kind of interesting is Santos said that Sodiq Yusuff was moving up permanently to 155. And then I heard in Sodiq interview that he said he's not sure what he's going to do. So I feel like this guy is a bit all over his head because clearly Santos knew that he moved up to 155 for his career. And maybe Sodiq is not sure anymore. Why? I don't really know. I know this guy had a ton of injuries. That's why he had a layoff. He's coming back after his first KO loss. And he's about to be 32 years old, right? And that's a guy who had his 5-round main event, lost, had big fights, lost, and now had a big spot at UFC 300 and got knocked out. So that's a guy who need to bounce back big time. But I kind of question his motivation going into this fight. I kind of question his chin. I really do, because he has very good recovery. But if you look, I mean, he got knocked out by Lopez, but in almost all of his UFC fight, he's getting wobble, he's getting dropped, he's getting rocked. And the guy has heart and he has very good recovery, like I said. But if your head's not 100% in it, you need to be like locked in to recover and come back in fights. If he's not somehow and he get hurt, he could just get finished and quit. We don't really know. That's not something we used to see about Sodiq, but watching this fight and watching the tapes, I'm like, all right, Santos is a very good striker. He has very good footwork and he has good power, right? And I think he's more durable. He's much younger. And the career trajectory here, again, we have a guy who's very active, who this fight's going to mean everything for him to gain a win here, the biggest win of his career to set him up to the next level. And we have Sodiq, who's, what does a win going to do for him? Maybe he's going to secure his UFC job, maybe something like that. Maybe he's going to bounce back, but it doesn't do anything for his career name-wise, right? So, but yeah, matchup-wise, I think Santos is way more likely to hurt Sodiq than the other way around. Even though Sodiq has power, I think he's reckless. And then when he's going to try to pressure Santos is very nasty with the counter. So I think he's going to clip him with something. I think he's going to hurt him, potentially drop him, and then maybe he's going to knock him out. But let's say he doesn't knock him out. If he get a knockdown or you rubble him, like you rocked him in round one, in any round, that's a round for him, right? So I'm pretty confident he's going to either hurt him or finish him. And then if they go the distance, I trust him to have the bigger moments and land the bigger shot, right? And I think that personally, I think he's going to find a kill shot here. I just think he's too precise. He's such a sniper. He's a sharpshooter. And I feel like Sodiq's going to try to, pressure him and walk into something. And if he try to grapple, I feel like he's going to get caught with a knee. So, yeah, I think Santos going to get it done. And I'm not sure if I predict knockout or decision, but if you go the distance, I'm pretty sure he's going to either drop or wobble him. So I think the KO is live, but I think Santos get it done. I think it's a good spot this week. I play minus 124, but now it's like minus 135. I think it's still good. And yeah, I mean, Doug's the one that said in my comments, but he was obviously trolling. But no, he doesn't follow me on Twitter. But yeah, personally, I think this kid's really good. Like I think he's special. And sometimes you have to find these guys that are special, and people don't think they are. That's why you find best good value, because in 2 fights, if he's really special and people know, he's gonna be a massive favorite. So we'll see though. I could be wrong, because that's a step up. And Sodiq, if you look at his losses, they are like good names, but again, I think Santos is that good of a fighter, so we'll see.
I think your breakdown made a lot of sense. It really, really did. And I came into the week thinking Sodiq Yusuff. I had a ticket at plus 120 on a book that offers me an even exchange cash out. And after everything I heard this week, not Dravy's breakdown, but I mean, when I heard everything Sodiq is talking about with his back and his mental headspace and the voiceover work, I'm just like, no thanks. Getting knocked out last night, no thanks. It's been over a year since we've seen you. and you're still training at the same gym? No thanks. So good on that. So I think you make a lot of good points, Dravy. And we were on Santos versus Francis Marshall, and we were like so sad and shitting our pants. And then we got kind of bailed out. And it was surprising. Right, TV?
Yeah, so upon rewatch,
You didn't
it's
feel
very-
so.
I really think it's a commentary thing, and it's similar to the Iwan Kudelaba fight, where commentary kind of picks who they're gonna say is winning the fight. They'll show the significant strike data or the control time, and then you have this narrative going to the decision that something's supposed to happen. Marshall was a huge popular underdog pick that week as well. So as the fight goes to the decision and he lands one of these no damage takedowns with a couple, 30 seconds left in the fight, and they're like, oh, this could seal the deal for Marshall. Blah, blah. It's like, yeah, he wins the first round, but only because he lands the knockdown at the very end of it. And like Dravy's saying in the chat, a lot of it comes from the threat of the takedown, from the juice. I mean, the guy's on the sauce from ATT, and he's got a takedown threat. So
yeah, and bro, he looked career best, Marshall, in that fight. He looked amazing, right?
Exactly.
And he still lost. I scored the fight for him, but like he still lost at the end of the day. So
round 2, round 3, I on rewatch, I thought Santos landed more damage, and while there was small spurts of control, we're talking about less than 2 minutes over 2 rounds. And Santos, he lands at a clearly higher efficiency. Marshall's nose is busted up. So in this fight, I mean, truly, I think, Santos is going to be the faster guy. I think he's going to be built more to go the distance and win a point fight. And there's also the potential that Sadiq just, can't really take it anymore. A lot of it started popping up for me at the press conference for UFC 300 when he starts asking about the extra bonuses and stuff. And I'm like, brother, you got to win. You got to win the fight if you want to get the bonus. Like, I would be way more focused on that than begging Dana White to give out more bonuses. Sure enough, Diego Lopez is out there getting a nice bonus for getting the finish win over Sadiq. And in this spot here, coming back, yeah, to hear that it's not that he had spine surgery, it's that he's probably going to have one in the future, and he's been trying to avoid it by doing rehab. I tell you, I work in this setting. That's not if you're fighting, brother. Like, you better have gotten that fixed. And even if that was the case, your first fight back is going to be bad. No, they can share their feelings. That's totally cool. But
no, they can't. Fuck that.
Yeah. And yeah, Santos probably smashes one way or another. I think, Sadiq is not going to turn into a volume wrestler without hurting his gas tank. And a lot of times going up weight, doesn't really help your cardio the way you think it does when you're not used to carrying that weight in a fight. So I think Santos here, he's going to be happy to get it done. And we'll see what weight class he ends up in the future. But this clearly seems to me like a passing of the guard, a passing of the prospect torch in my mind. Guru, did you have anything else on this fight? I think you got
no,
it. Right?
I think I've just totally come around. I think Marion Santos has the talent perspective and kind of an upside in terms of where his career is headed. I really did like Dravy's point about kind of picking somebody like a diamond in the rough you think could actually do something special. I think that makes a lot of sense. And Sadiq has just raised a ton of questions for me. So, yeah, and that was the other big part, right? Sadiq is not wrestling, which we've said 100 times already. So Sadiq is not wrestling. So that's a major, major difference with the Francis Marshall fight. That dude is on every vitamin that ATT has to offer. So,
amen. All right. Well, we're moving on here. We've got Dustin the Duster Stoltzfus versus Nursultan Black.
Is he
Lil Ruzi Vert Ruziboyev?
Right, but here's the thing though. Is he the duster in this fight, or is he going to get dusted?
Oh, that's exactly why I ended up going with this one. I had some other ideas, like given some recent things in the world. I thought, Dustin Third Reich Stoltzfus could have been kind of messed up. I don't know how he leans. So I thought the duster, because listen, he took care of Marc-Andre Barrio, but real quickly in this fight, he could go back to being the dusted. I mean, Ruziboyev he's probably going to pull an Abus Magomedov. Maybe not a front kick to the face. Maybe it's just a jab to a right hand. But Stoltzfus, I mean, he's been finished in every type of way imaginable. Maybe it's the Kimura, maybe it's a guillotine. But if this fight does start getting to round 2, round 3, yeah, I'd be seriously concerned that it's because the duster is pulling out the broom and getting this fight to the mat. And in that case, we could see a clean sweep of rounds 2 and round 3. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it, right? Is can he survive long enough to not go to the Ruziverse, right? So
no, not the Ruziverse.
Right? I would love to see Ruziboyev hit his patented Kimura on Dustin Stoltzfus, but we all know that that's not how it's going to happen, right? He's either going to clip him really bad or he's honestly just going to get wrestle fucked. And you know what's kind of interesting is the fight that he wins in explosive, really like explosive fashion is the Ferreira fight. And the Bruno Ferreira, Bruno's a really good fighter. Like that's such an interesting fight. I wonder if that fight would happen the same like way if they had fought more than once. Like, you know, if it was like, you know, a basketball series, like they actually have to fight 7 times. So, and then he does finish Cedricus Dumas, but we were there. That's some bullshit. That was like 17 eye pokes.
Yeah.
Like he probably would have finished him anyway, but come on.
Sauce it down, sauce it up. Way too much, not enough. Little
so
Rizzy bird.
Right. So like realistically, Dustin Stoltzfus is like a decent MMA fighter. And other than getting, I guess, killed by Abbas in 2 seconds, and then the unbelievable Bruno Ferreira, he did a really good job against Marc-Andre Barriott last time out. That was very, very impressive. That was very, very impressive. So I don't know. It's dog or pass from a money line spot, but I don't mind a grandma's couch cushion on an assault in round 1. But past that, I don't understand why he's minus 300, and I'm not really interested in him. Like the crazy person in me really wants to. Jeez, Louise. The crazy person in me really wants to pick Dustin here. So I don't know that I'll get there, but that's where I'm at. Dogfather just hates me.
You got to do better. Dravy, what are you going with? The gonads, the accuracy? What do you got going on here in this fight?
Oh, I didn't mean I wrote attempted. I meant to say landed. Yeah, no, I wrote that wrong.
On this one, it's clearly dog or pass. I mean, Ruziboyev is not a guy I'm high on personally. I said like Santos I think he's special. Ruziboyev, I know for a fact is not special. I know some people high on him. I'm not. He's kind of a run one guy. He's big, good power, but he's kind of simple to figure on the feet. Like good uppercut, good straight down the pipe, right hand. He has power, but like he's low volume. He's not a good minute winner. He's slow down as the fight extends. He's not a good wrestler. He has tricky jiu-jitsu, but like not at the UFC level, I don't think. And here it's like Stoltzfus, I feel like he's underrated. The guy always, you know, he's always an underdog. He's a decent striker. He has a good ground game, decent wrestler. So the thing is like, I could see all the value on Stoltzfus, but still die in round 1. You know what I mean? That's kind of my thing.
Literally, exactly. Literally, that's why I'm like so scared. I'm like, I want to do it, but I'm gonna want to throw myself down the stairs when he gets knocked out in 2 minutes. Like I just,
Yeah, that's really the upside and what we're fading if we're betting Stoltzfus. You know, we're kind of fading Ruziboyev round 1, and then I think you have a ton of upside on the money line, and also Stoltzfus decision like 6-1 or something. I think it's also pretty decent. If you go to distance, I favor him personally. So yeah, Stoltzfus money line, Stoltzfus decision. I think that's the way to go betting wise. But as far as a pick, I think Ruziboyev get it done. I think he get a KO1 here, and the fate on the next fight might be pretty good. But on this one, I'm not sure Dustin's the guy. I know Dustin Stoltzfus is a dogfighter guy, so maybe he likes him in this fight. I'm not sure, but personally for me, I think it's probably better to stay away. Just because there's so much wrong that could happen here, right? You could die in round 1, but Maybe you just live bet Stolfus after round 1 could be decent as well. But I think Rzoblev probably find his KO1. But if you look at the props, the KO1 is like 2-1. It's awful. So I don't even like that.
All right, so can I ask you, because this was a fight I just made a very similar mistake on a couple weeks ago, and maybe you'll tell me if I'm crazy or not, right? Does this feel like the Ryan Loader, what the fuck's that guy's name? He's a hilarious
Azamat Vikoyev,
dude. Yeah, Azamat. Is this that fight over again?
I mean, no, because Stolfus, I think, is way better at MMA than Ryan Loader. It's like
agreed. Loader's not even a real fighter.
Yeah, I mean, Loader was only a wrestler, right? And I think Stolfus here could win minute in the striking, could win minute on top. I favor him as the fight extend, but in the Loader fight was like you could die in round 1, but then if he doesn't die in round 1, I'm not sure you win either. But in this case, I think there's just this. Yeah, I mean, his takedown defense is not great, so it depends on how Stolfus fight. If he come out there and he wrestle in round 1, I think he might win, but I'm not that confident about it. So it's just a pass for me overall betting wise. But I know for a fact he's the side though. If you want to bet this fight, I think it's Stolfus money line and Stolfus decision. You just sprinkle that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. And Dogfather, to your point, I mean, I absolutely, TB will tell you, I absolutely smashed Joaquin Buckley over Nursultan Rozaboya because I'm like, he's going to wrestle. Like, I was sure of it. And I knew he couldn't defend takedowns. So, 100%. And I appreciate you for answering my question, Travy.
Beautiful. So we hope the duster does not become the dusted, but we'll see.
It sounds like he's going to get dusted.
Julian Juicy J Erosa versus the Milkman, Milk Coffee, Melquizael Costa, minus 175 for Costa, plus 145 for Julian Juicy J Erosa. You say no to plus 145, but TB scouting MMA, can he? I don't know. This is a really tough one. I feel like 2 minutes into the fight, we're going to have Erosa at like plus 300. And at that point, I might be interested. If Erosa can survive the first few flurries and it doesn't look like his head is about to get knocked off of his shoulders, then there might be a pacing thing where Costa is going to have to deal with a guy that doesn't slow down, that's able to, offer his own submission threats. Costa, he's got the upside from, I think he's the better kicker. He's going to be faster. He did show some pretty improved cardio and wrestling and grappling exchanges in the C-Rod fight, also causing a lot of damage. Julian Erosa, he doesn't like the head kicks. So it makes me a little bit concerned. And I feel like, Juicy J is very tempting, but he needs very specific things to happen for him to have success in the fight. And I don't think he avoids getting hit in the face enough times to start implementing his success. So I'm going to pick Costa as the money line. And quite frankly, it's like if you're beating Juicy J, it's typically by a round 1 knockout. So I'll say Costa round 1, round 2 knockout. And Juicy J, the live betting opportunity will certainly be there for you if you want to take it. I can guarantee it.
Did they really is that the line really under 2.5, not a 1.5? I'm just kind of surprised.
Yeah, that is correct.
I'm surprised by that personally.
Yeah.
Let me see here. So when I go to my alternate lines here on FanDuel, I can get under 1.5 at plus 130. And that is where I think I want to go.
Yes, Drew.
I kind of feel like either way, this fight ends early. I know Erosa's kind of notorious for that round 3 submission. And don't get me wrong, I guess it certainly could still be live. I just feel like, kind of like you said, TB, either Melky's knocking him out early because Julian Erosa gets knocked out in round 1 all the time. And he even got his eye swollen shut from frickin' in his last fight, Darren Elkins. Or Melky's going to do something dumb like shoot a takedown right into a guillotine and he's going to get subbed the way Andre Feely did, being stupid. Although the Andre Feely one was literally so fraudulent. So funny. I don't know why. I kind of lean Julian Erosa. I kind of like his striking more. And when I watch Melky Costa, like the stats are similar in ways, but I do feel like Julian Erosa's pace overall is higher. So, yeah, I like my under 1.5 and not really having to pick a side.
Dravy?
Yeah, what about that milk haircut on that picture?
He's also like super white. You should see his Tapology picture compared to that picture. I mean, obviously he has the whatever they call it.
Did the UFC do him justice on like this? Did they Photoshop it, you think?
His hair?
No, like his body.
I forget what they call that. What it's called. What he has.
I mean, poor guy. You know, it's crazy. But anyways, Dravy, what do you got on the breakdown here in this fight?
I think Juicy J is a live dog, definitely. Looking into this one, you know, I feel like it's a tricky fight to break down. I think it could go a way or another, but Juicy J is just the type of guy you like to back when he's an underdog, because he's gonna fight for your money if he doesn't get KO'd in the first round. And then looking into this one, it's like Costa doesn't really have. I mean, he has power, but like he's not a big hitter. He's not a KO1 guy, right? His last KO1 was outside the UFC against a guy who was 12-11, right? So that's not really his game. He's a good striker. I like his kicks. I like his footwork. He has decent volume. Minute winner, he's pretty good. And he has decent wrestling, decent BJJ offensively. But the thing here is, like, when I break down this fight, I'm like, all right, so Costa's going to try to kick on the outside and win minute that way. But Juicy J is going to try to pressure him and get in the inside, get in the clinch, where I think he's going to do better. And if you look at the Dawodu and the Jordan fight, right, for Erosa, both of them are good kickers and they're pretty fast, and he did well against them. What he did is he cooked them with pressure, and, you know, he hurt them, he dropped them. And I feel like that's pretty live here, because Costas didn't really have somebody that will try to pressure him and that have that style yet in his UFC career. And Erosa, that's what he's trying to do, right? And that's also in the small cage. So I think Costa needs space to operate, and I don't think Juicy J is going to give him much space. And yeah, could he die in round one? That's always possible. That's always, like, when you bet Juicy J, you know, that's possible. You just die in round one. But to be honest, I'm not sure Costa's the guy to do that. And if he's not, then I trust Juicy J more in round 2 and 3 as the fight extends. I think he has better cardio, better pace, more volume. And in round 3, Costa has shown me some bad look, even in the C-Rod fight in round 3. And Juicy J has shown me very good optic in round 3. He's good at finishing fight late. And then if you think Costa's going to grapple and mix in the takedown, I think he could. But the problem with that is every time he's going to try to grapple, he's going to put himself in bad position. And if you look into his UFC career, he has a lot of submission attempt against him, right? He always end up in submission attempt. And you don't want to be in submission attempt against Juicy J, because he's going to finish you, right? He's nasty with these front chokes. So I feel like Juicy J is more likely to finish by sub. I think Juicy J is more likely to finish late in the fight, and he needs to avoid a KO1, basically. And if it go to distance, it's just going to be a war. It's going to be a fun fight. But I think Erosa is going to be the one pressuring, doing more, landing more. And, I mean, people are going to talk about Costa knocking him out, but I think Erosa could also knock him out. He hit pretty hard, and he's also bigger than Costa, something Costa is not really used to at featherweight. So, yeah, to me, it's like, I think Erosa could also land takedowns, because I've noticed that he loves to catch people kicks and mix that into takedowns. He did that a couple times, and Costa's going to try to kick, especially the body. And I feel
that's all he does. He barely punches.
He's good at that. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like Juicy J is going to either try to catch the kick and trying to get his own takedown. And if he does, he could get a back take. And, you know, that Moises submission, it was not even under the neck, and he tapped Costa. So I think offensively his grappling is good, but defensively I'm not sure it's that good. I know he survived against C-Rod, and, you know, the C-Rod fight, it was very close. People putting too much stock into that. I feel like they're giving him a lot of respect for that performance, but it was a very close fight that happened a lot in the grappling. And if the same type of fight happened against Erosa, I think Erosa win. I think Erosa submit him, and Erosa fought C-Rod also, and he submitted him the first round. And, you know, so I just feel like here we just have way more upside on the Erosa side, which is pace, which is pressure, which is volume, which is more likely to finish in the submission, KO. and he could win a decision. He's a big underdog. He's the bigger guy.
It's exactly how I felt.
Yeah, I just think there's too much hype on Costa right now. And, he was pick him in his last couple fights, which I think was the times to bet him. But now I feel like it's probably the time to fade him and bet Juicy J. And I feel like after round 1, he's going to enter Juicy J universe, the Juicy J verse. And as the fight extended round 3, I feel like if he slowed down, he's going to capitalize. And you don't want to be under his arm if you roll that Darce choke, because that's not going to end up well for him.
Let me tell you, and let me tell you good, if we are 3 minutes into round 1 and Juicy J's head is not been snapped back.
You're lame.
I'm telling you, brother, that's when we enter the Juicy verse. So.
No, you're lame. That's when you are entering the Juicy verse. I'm already there, partner. I like Juicy J. I think it's exactly what Dravy said. God damn it, I keep doing that. It's exactly what Dravy said. It's literally like, it's exactly what I felt on tape. He just was able to articulate it for me. It was that Melky's not going to be able to grapple him without putting himself in really bad spots. And I even said in my breakdown, I felt like Juicy J's a better striker. Melky doesn't fucking punch. All he does is kick. So as long as Juicy J can avoid the knockout, which I'm not even sure is as big of a issue here because he doesn't punch that much, I think he's going to be fine.
He's been head kicked 2 times by Caceres and
you mean the Ninja?
And Arce as well.
Arce's was really good back in his heyday, brother.
I mean, yeah, I know, but Melkothi, I mean, he has a good kicking game, so it's not impossible for him to handle
that could happen for sure, but I'm just not sure it's that likely to happen, So
that's fair.
If it's not that likely to happen, then I'm pretty sure this line is wrong. I feel it should be closer to pick him personally. So I think Juicy J.
We got him as a dog price for a C-Rod. Like he was a dog
like plus
or
200 something. Yeah, so I hit that for a couple. We hit that for a couple units.
Yeah, so to be this big of a favorite versus Juicy J, I don't understand it.
Well, Juicy J was a plus 200. No, I was saying Juicy J was a plus 200 dog to C-Rod.
No, he was a bigger dog than that. He was. I bet him in that fight. He was like plus 250, I think.
Yes, right. And he was also and Melky was also a dog to C-Rod in his last fight.
Yes, but not as big of a dog.
He was plus 150,
like plus 110, plus 120, something like that.
Listen,
that's the.
We can look it up, but Tapology here says plus 205 for Juicy J versus C-Rod, and it says plus 150 for Melky versus C-Rod. So
that line closed a lot. I play him at plus 275 against.
Sure, of course, right.
Against C-Rod, but that line closed like plus 2 something. I
exactly.
Remember. But even against Ramos, he's plus 150. I bet him there. It's like this guy when he's
that one too.
When he's these type of price, he usually cash, and when he's a favorite, he's kind of shit the bed. He has good wins in his career, Erosa, and I feel like again he's the type of guy that performed well as a dog, and people in the chat saying that we're gonna learn the hard way because Costa's gonna knock him out. I mean, that's always a downside when you bet Erosa. You're willing to accept he could just die and get knocked out, but you're betting on if he doesn't get knocked out, then there's just a ton more upside. That's kind of my thing here.
There's a major difference to me in the body types of Sungwoo Choi, Alex Caceres, Fernando Padilla compared to Melky Costa. It's a total fight style and body type difference there.
I think you guys are taking me on a trip to the Juicy versus what it's feeling like. I think you guys might have brought me there.
It's gonna be legendary when they get into round 3 and Costa
North Memphis. North Memphis.
You say no to betting Juicy J. I guess we can't. Let's go, baby. All right, we're live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Unless we got our special guest opportunities. Best guess, always free picks. It'd be really messed up if you guys hadn't already thrown a like on the video. If you hadn't subscribed to the channel already, we'd be pretty fucked up in my mind. However, there's one really quick way to fix that. Just do the right thing, damn it. Throw a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, costs you nothing. We're here to have a good time every single week, and we keep on rolling, baby. That's it. What do we do, Guru?
We have a good time, and we keep on rolling.
This is the time where you always say rolling, bro. Every single time.
What do I always say?
You always go rolling. Every time. You're always rolling.
What line did you get the nuggies at?
I played plus 200 live. Nice. And I had plus Plus 150 pregame.
Plus 150 pregame. Oh, so you bet it live too?
Yeah, I did a little dabulation on it.
You little jizzle bob.
That's me. All right, so we've got gifted Gabe Green plus 190 versus the Jaguar Mateusz Camilo, making his UFC debut after beating, whoever his face. Mr. Dana, give me opportunity for UFC.
What a great moment. What a great moment to gas out and lose and literally give your contract opportunity to the guy you decided to fight. Like, that's just fucking awesome.
I think it works out nicely for Camilo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He literally was Camilo ever getting a chance to get to the UFC if that's not the opportunity that falls on him? The guy's name is Doroshkabab. What's his name?
Doroshkabab.
Yeah,
I don't know, something like that. Yeah, he was also a little jizzle bob.
That's true.
Yeah, so gifted Gabe Green coming in back at 155, which that's the appropriate spot. He was clearly undersized every matchup at 170. And against Camilo here, this is like the first time in his UFC career that he's going to have the height and reach. I think it's about 1 inch height and 1 inch reach for Green, which might as well be a 5-inch reach advantage, given that he's fought Phil Rowe and Brian Battle, guys that just absolutely outclass him from a size perspective. So this matchup here,
he beat Phil Rowe.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's used to fighting guys with.
You probably should have. I would have appreciated. But to make your point, you should have said Ian Gary.
Yeah, but Ian Gary doesn't have as long a reach of either of those two guys.
Well,
I was just saying
he uses his kicks, which are longer than his arms.
My point is that Gabe Green actually has a height and reach advantage, which he is not used to. He's fought way taller, way longer, and way more athletic guys.
Why did he pull out of the on top fight again?
Gabriel, he was busy finding God.
No, seriously?
Yeah, I mean, no, there was he did have like a knee injury as well, which I don't know.
What do you mean he found God? What does that mean?
He started becoming more one with Jesus recently.
No, that's not good. Did you see what happened to Rory McDonald when that happened?
No. Not good. Okay, but Rory McDonald got into absolute wars, and I mean, it was terrible.
No, but then he found Jesus. It wasn't just the war.
So did Vitor Belfort.
No, he lost the ability to take TRT.
No, he found Jesus in his prime.
Brother, that is not what happened.
He found Jesus and steroids in his prime. No, I'm talking about when he was at his best. He found Jesus.
Oh, that has nothing to.
Yeah, so I'm saying it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. And the guru in 2025 said, Jesus
"How can I say that when I look so much? How can I say that when I look so much like him?"
All right. Well, I'm gonna leave out what I wanted to say. But we've got Gabe Green at 190, Mateusz Camilo at minus 230. And in this matchup.
You want to talk gifted? This line is gifted. This guy sucks. Mateusz Camilo, again, would he be on the UFC radar if not for this random situation he ended up with because of his opponent? I don't think so. I wasn't impressed by anything on the tape. He's like decent at some things, but a master of none, kind of low volume, can get pushed up against the cage. TB already made the point about the fact that, Gabe Green's never really been able to have a size advantage before. He's got a decent chance to win this fight. And he's at least made the UFC walk before. I don't like the long layoff, and I don't like the fact that he's found Jesus. But unless Jesus told him to murder this man, then that's cool.
I think he told
him. Well, then that's interesting to me. So at plus 200, I am titillated. But I wouldn't mind necessarily passing, but I'm probably too much of a degenerate to do so. So Gabe Green at plus 200 it is. And let it be known.
Damn, you jumped the line on me to give out the play that I played. It's much sadness in this arena. I don't think Camilo can fight off the back foot efficiently, and that's why Gabe Green should have a lot of success here. And he also actually has wrestling upside, and I don't think he's out trying to do it like our buddy on the regional scene did. So, yeah, Gabe Green, I mean, the price is right. Bob Barker, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, the price is right. So, Dravy, what do you think about this matchup? What are you picking here?
It's a hard fight to predict. It's a step up for Camilo. It's a move down in weight class for Green. It's a layoff for Green. It's a UFC debut for Camilo. Camilo, I think technically is a good striker, decent power, but I mean the guy is too low volume for me personally. I don't think he does enough in the cage. He doesn't grapple. So I think Green as the grappling upside here, as the UFC experience, gonna be the bigger guy here. Maybe the better cardio as well, but I'm not sure where he's at mentally. If you look on his Instagram, doesn't look that good. Doesn't look to be fully committed into training and fighting. But that's all narrative, right? You could come out there and look pretty good. So yeah, at the numbers, it's clearly dog or pass. Do you want to take the shot or no? That's kind of the question, because I don't think Green is that good. I think Camilo is the better fighter long term, and he's much younger. And Green could get cracked. I don't trust his chin. He's been hurt and drop and finish a couple times. So yeah, I just think Camilo is the better fighter in the striking, where I expect this fight to play out. But I think Green could make this fight really close, and he could win it if he mixes up the grappling and being just a more experienced fighter overall. But I think Camilo is going to find a way to win this, but I don't have much confidence on it. I think it's a close fight, but I do agree with you guys that the line is wide. I don't think it should be that wide.
Yeah, I have brought you guys to Jesus himself. I mean, I'm trying to find where this all started. He had a baby. That's dad power could help, a lot of church posts. Gabe Green is running services out here. He's a man of God. He's got his
What
his
the hell is this?
He didn't retire and become a pastor, but maybe one day. The dog's got plenty of fight in him. God's timing is perfect, and I will fight again when he thinks the time is right. He literally told Gabe Green to come back and beat the fuck out of Mateus Camilo. Because this was a while ago. He said he wasn't going to come back until God told him to.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Hyperbaric chamber.
Okay, so without looking at Tapology, do you guys know the last person to finish Gabe Green that wasn't Brian Battle?
I'm sure it was a long time ago. It was probably on the regional, right?
It was 2017 in Bellator. It was Mr. Jalen Turner.
Damn.
Wow. Okay, so I mean, his losses by finish are not even that bad. Camilo's not finishing this guy. It's going the distance. I think he lands more volume.
He might.
That's the thought.
But I mean, in the last couple, first off, the last finish he has is a round 3 submission against Dorian Ramos, who we know sucks. He came to Dana White Contender Series and lost to what's his fate? Yeah, Austin Bashi in a terrible fight.
All right. Yeah.
We know that this guy sucks.
To answer Dogfather's question, this is a very important one. This is Guru's probably one of his favorite terms. It's to stimulate or excite, especially in a sexual way.
Is that what Webster says?
Yes.
Actually,
which explains why you like using it so much.
It says especially in a sexual way.
You guys should just hear what this guy is like on a consistent basis.
Is that really what it says?
That's really what it says.
That's so great.
Hilarious. All right, so we're moving on. Gifted, Gabe Green. Hopefully you take us to the promised land. If not, I know Juicy J will. So we might as well. All right, we've got Flash. Minus 125. Jared Flash Gordon versus Tiago Red Sea Moises. Plus 105. Let my people go. Tiago, the 10 Commandments, Moises. What do you guys think is best? Let me know, because we just talked about Jesus. Now it's time to talk about Moses. So in my mind here, I just think that Jared Gordon, this is going to be an opportunity for him to just absolutely get off on his pace at distance. I don't see Moises really being a big volume wrestler unless something's gone absolutely wrong for his opponent. And I expect the majority of this fight to take place either at distance or in dirty boxing range. And I think Jared Gordon would clearly win all of those exchanges. Moises, he's got good kicks at kickboxing range. He's also got decently fast hands, and he's got solid jiu-jitsu. I just think Gordon's got a bit more grit, and we haven't really seen him quit in the ways that we've seen Moises have trouble. So whereas life is a box of chocolates with Mr. Moses, and you don't know what you're going to get, I think Jared Gordon, unless you're knocking him out early, you know this guy's going to put on a pace and put on a fight. So I'm happy to play him even at a little bit of minus money. But Guru, what did you do?
I smashed the Jared Gordon line at plus 105. I got like 4 units down on that bad boy. I just felt like, I just felt like Jared Gordon was just the better pressure fighter. I felt like Thiago Moises kind of smells bad. Like he looks like he smells bad, right?
Jesus.
The Trey Ogden,
nice.
the Trey Ogden fight was pretty terrible to watch in general. It's just he just doesn't really have much offense. He doesn't really have much damage, right? Like that's kind of the way you want to make Jared Gordon pay. You either want to make him pay with being a much better striker, much more violent striker, or you want to make him pay with top control. And I don't really think Thiago Moises does either of those things. In fact, he's the one that will happily get grinded out against the cage. And Jared Gordon is, if nothing else, a fantastic grinder. So give me Jared Gordon at plus money to get it done. Probably my favorite betting spot of the entire week. Yeah, come on, Jared Gordon, get her done, brother. Because listen, they owe Jared Gordon a solid fight. Didn't he? Is he not fought since he was supposed to fight Little Ruzy Vert?
Well, like little Ruzy Vert, Ruzy Vert Jr.
No, you. I mean, he's the real Little Ruzy Vert. Because he's Little Ruzy.
Well, he was Black Jr.
Right. That's why he's that's Ruzy, and then there's Lil Ruzy. It was Ruzy Vert and Lil Ruzy Vert.
Yeah, but I mean, originally before Sketchy Ruzy.
And anyway, all of this to say you didn't answer my fucking question, which the answer is yes. He has not fought since he was booked against Kawhi Fernandez and Lil Ruzy. So this is a favor. This is still a solid fight for him to win. This is a winnable fight, and he should get it done. God, you're impossible.
Coming in super hot. We love you, Forrest, though. We've been, what world does he beat Patty the Batty and lose Patty the Batty and lose to Mr. Red Sea? I don't know. It's a good question.
No, he's not. Don't give him that nickname.
Why not?
Because he's crappy, and Moses is awesome.
He said Moses is not parting the Red Sea here. I don't know. What about 10 Commandments? What about Let My People Go?
I love all those. Those are bangers.
Yeah.
Banger
so I texted you all 3 of them, and you didn't.
Burning Bush, banger.
Burning Bush. That's another good one. All right, sick. So, Dravy, are you talking to Moses as well? What are you?
Oh, wait. Are you talking to Moses? Or are you talking to Moises? Who are you talking to?
I think Moises is gonna have some issue with this on this one, boys. I'm with you. I just feel like Gordon had some bad luck with the judges recently, but if you look, right, the fight is like minus 300, the good distance, and you have a guy in Gordon that should be like what 13-0 decision, which is very impressive. Normally, to beat this guy, you got to finish him. You either knock him out or you either take his back and submit him. But the people that done that to him recently are Graham Dawson and Charles Oliveira. Right, so it's like this guy should be on a 4-fight winning streak right now, and I would argue that he looked better than ever recently, even though he's older at 36. Right, so against Nasrat, he pushed a crazy pace. He went for it. He took some big shot. He was fine. The difference between these two guys, I feel like we have a guy in Gordon that want to fight, that want to win, that's going to do a lot more, and we have a guy in Moises that is skill. Like I think his grappling is good. I think he's a good fighter overall. His striking is decent. The problem with him is like he doesn't trust himself anymore. I don't know what it is, but since he got these big fight against these big names and then he lost or got broken, I feel like he knows in his head that he's not at that level. He tried to switch cam, goes to the Fighting Nerds, didn't work out, go back to ATT, and he's only 30 years old, right? But I feel like the guy is searching himself, and maybe he's gonna go to the Gabe Green path, and maybe he needs Jesus in his life. I don't know what it is, but I mean, this guy Moises just doesn't love to be in here recently. I bet him against Trey Ogden, and man, I mean, Trey Ogden made mistakes, but why Moises was not pushing the grappling? That was like fucked up to me. And he's happy that leg kick kind of cooked Ogden because he was kind of on his way to lose that one. So I just think here Gordon, he's not easy to submit. He's not easy to take down and stuff. And I'm not even sure Moises is gonna go out there and trying to grapple fuck him. He doesn't really do that recently. So even if he tries, he's not that good of a wrestler. And on the feet, you have a guy that on Gordon who's gonna double him and maybe triple him on volume, and it's gonna be in his face and try to win, and it might be enough. So I feel like Gordon could even break him late. I think KO 2-3 on Gordon is massive number. It's like 25-1, 35-1. I don't think it's bad. I know he didn't really have a KO recently, but I mean he had one against Mark Madsen, but outside of that, he doesn't really have many KOs. But if you look at the Nasrat fight and the pace he was pushing and the shot that he landed on Nasrat, if he does that here, I feel like he could break Moises. But more than likely, I think he's gonna win a decision. I think the line movement was pretty sharp on that one. Even argue it should be a bit wider than the current number. So yeah, Gordon for me. The worry is obviously if Moises can get the grappling going, can get to the back. He's obviously a very good BJJ guy, but I don't even think that's that likely for him to grapple a lot and for him to have that much success. And Gordon is a capable grappler in his own right. So to me, it's a Gordon spot. I think he's going to win probably by decision, but KO 2-3 again, massive numbers. I don't know what you guys think about that, but it's like.
I like it. I think we actually tried to do that against Madsen and it just didn't quite get there. But I'd love to do that again here because I think truly Thiago comes out, has a good first 5 minutes, and that truly dictates where he goes for the rest of the fight. Is if he has a good first 5 minutes, he can put on a good decision. Maybe he finds a big win. If he has a bad first 5 minutes, he's trying to find any way out of there he can. And that's something that we've seen with the tougher competition he's faced.
My concern with the finish idea, first off, is that I don't know the price, number one. Number two,
25-1 and 30-something-1 for round 2 KO and round 3 KO.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's fantastic. There's nothing to hate on that absolutely at all. So, but the one thing I would say, of course, is that even though Thiago Moises feels old, he's really only 30. And while he has been finished in a couple of those fights, he wasn't finished by Ludwig Klein, who's probably power for power, a stronger puncher than Gordon.
He's more of a kicker, though.
That's true.
And he actually has been using his wrestling a shit ton.
That's also true.
I think the difference is Klein is a harder hitter, and he hurt him in that fight, by the way. But
that's true.
I think Gordon pushed a higher pace and is gonna throw more.
Agreed.
So for him, I don't think Moises has a bad chin, So it's not. I feel like he's more likely to. What's up, bro? I think he's more likely to get broken and finished via like pace and volume than like a big power guy.
Right.
Even against Joel Alvarez, right? He got hurt. Don't get me wrong. But Joel Alvarez pressure break him. Right. Not like a big KO shot that he doesn't have a bad chin. That's not what I mean. Gordon has a kind of a bad chin, but recently he looked great. So yeah.
It's a good point.
I mean, it's massive numbers. My thing is like he's not gonna submit Moises, right? So if he doesn't submit Moises, then does he finish him in round 1? If he does finish him, I don't think so. So it gotta be a KO 2-3 if he does. And then on Bet365 is 22-1 and 33-1 for KO 2, KO 3. It had my attention. I'm not gonna lie.
Guru, what's the FanDuel combo?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I need you to work here. We need it.
It's loading.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, I think you're kind of nailing the prop idea here. It just makes a ton of sense to me. I don't see if you're gonna take a Grandma's couch cushion on top of the money line, which is okay. You're allowed to do a Grandma's couch cushion on any fight you want.
1,300.
Yeah, 1,300. Are you kidding me? I'll throw instead of doing them each individually, we'll put them together. Unless I don't know if we calculate it. Maybe.
Well, yeah, it probably ends up to be more money if we do it individually. Let's say because you have
to add them and divide by 4. So 2,200.
That's way too much work. I'm just gonna type
3,300 and then divide by 4. That's 1,375. So yeah, you have to play them separately then. Right?
You have to, because
Okay.
and listen, it's easier just this way because you just type it out, right? You put $10 on, just for example, $10 on 2-3 KO and wins you at 130. You put $5 each on the round 2 and the round 3. It's 120 and 145. Like
Yeah.
it's a no brainer.
There
They're
you
literally
go.
just they're actually robbing people that are too lazy to go look and bet them individually.
Interesting. Well, see, that's why doing the calculations is important. This has been your mathematics lesson with Chronic Combat Conversations. And talking about numbers that are wide and might make sense, we've got Yadier del Valle, the Cuban problem, not the Cuban Missile Crisis. We already had one of those. He's just a problem from Cuba. And then we've got Connor, the Controller Matthews. And it's not that he's a big Drake fan, and it's not that he's a good wrestler. It's that he worked as a controller, which is pretty terrible.
And no, he worked in the military or whatever, right?
As a controller.
Air traffic controller.
Yeah,
right?
which come on.
Or what was he?
A controller.
What is that? Oh, a comptroller. That's what you're saying.
No, but he's a controller.
No, he was former U.S. Air Force combat controller.
Yeah, controller.
Controller.
But so anyways, the Cuban
what are they selling? What was he again?
Yeah, that'll take longer than my breakdown. I think that the controller is gonna have a serious Cuban problem on his hands. No, come on. I was just saying, I don't like the nickname. Come on. If you don't like that, then you don't like America. Shout out to my pops. He was an Air Force veteran as well. But
was he a controller?
No, he was a navigator. I'll never. So now that we've gone completely off the rails, welcome to Chronic Combat. But yeah, this is going to be a serious Cuban problem on the hands of Connor Matthews. And yeah, Jesus, man. I mean, watching that Dana White Contender Series fight, if Connor Matthews eats 2 of those elbows, if he eats 2 of those knees to the midsection, he's donezo immediately. So it's round 1, round 2 KO or bust. And even if bust happens, he's probably still winning a clean and clear decision. Yeah. So what do you got, Guru?
Yeah, I mean, this guy's going to kill him. I like round 1, round 2 KO, which I'm about to pull up right now. Round 1, round 2. Actually, I just wanted round 1, round 2 in general.
Yeah, that's better.
What was that? It's plus. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's plus 170.
Where?
Yeah, so FanDuel, of course.
What? Oh my gosh. Oh god.
So I know that this guy isn't necessarily world renowned here for all his finishes, even though he's 8-0. He's got 4 decisions, right? Half of them have come by decision. But I think he's fought a decent-ish level of competition, and this guy is not. He's terrible. He's not UFC level, and he's getting finished left and right. So
I thought it was going to be minus 130.
Yeah, no, it's plus 170.
When you actually watch how that Contender Series fight went, I know it went the distance, but my god,
he goes balls to the wall.
Dravey, do you go balls to the wall?
Of course, bro.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a fight where I think the right guy is favored, but again, when you lay a big price tag like that on a UFC debut, it's always tricky. I'd rather go with the under because Conor Matthews is gonna throw hard. He's gonna go out there and he's gonna try to kill him, right? But the problem with that is he's very hittable. He has been hurt before. He has been KO'd before. And I just think Yadir, if you look into his career, he has a lot of decision, like he has mentioned, but in a lot of these fights, he's hurting these guys, right? He's hurting them. He's almost finishing. He has a good submission game, good power. Oh my God. I mean, that guy was fucking tough, though. Saying Conor Matthews is tough, but I'm not sure he's as tough as that guy. So, yeah, I do think that I'm going to predict him to finish, and the finish is plus money compared to his money line. So I think that's the way to go. You just bet the value in the side distance, or you bet the under 2.5. It's under 2.5 is almost the same price. So maybe you just go with that. Could be a bit smarter, but because of the debut, and he could shit the bed. But yeah, I think he's probably gonna find a finish here. I don't think Conor Matthews is UFC caliber. So even if he has the jitter in his debut, he could still win easily. So yeah.
Nice. I like it. We kind of all agree here. I as tempting as it is, I'm not parlaying this guy. There's no way. All right, we're moving on. We've got Luana the Drama Santos versus Tainara Thai Panther Lisboa. This is Lesbos. Minus 170 for Luana Santos, plus 142 for the Thai Panther Lisboa. Considerations for this matchup, we'll paint the scene. Luana making the move back up to 135. Last time she was there, she weighed in at 139, and every other matchup she's been at 125 and made weight. Doesn't make any sense, but we're going to roll with it. Tainara Lisboa coming off of a 2-year layoff. Last time she fought, Ravena Oliveira, we haven't seen her fight since then. Additionally, we had a reconstructive knee surgery with a cartilage implantation. So extensive rehab, and this happened in December.
She got implants?
She got implants, but in the knee for her articular cartilage. It's basically like getting a knee replacement, but for a young person. They try to resurface the condyles of your tibia or femur, whichever one is the most messed up. Maybe it's both. And they're trying to avoid you having to get a total knee replacement at 34 years old, because the knee replacement, that's going to basically need to be redone within 20 years. So you don't want to have to get a second knee replacement at 54. They're doing their best to have, she still had to have a huge surgery and recovery, but the hope is she might be able to avoid a replacement in the future. End of the story is Lisboa has gone through like a year and a half of extensive cardio and then getting back into MMA training. But was that enough time to make sure she doesn't end up in the clinch and attempting stupid judo throws and ending up in bottom position and ending up in bad spots in the grappling? That's where I'm actually concerned here, because quite frankly, I know I gave you a huge breakdown of what she had to go through with the knee surgery. That's honestly the last thing I'm concerned about here. Luana Santos, way worse striker. She's wacky, wavy, inflatable arm girl versus a talented Muay Thai striker who has 2 fights against Valentina Shevchenko in previous Muay Thai striking battles. So it's just the fact of the matter is her striking is clearly going to be cleaner. It's just if she keeps on ending up in the clinch, does it matter? And that's where I get scared. So I wanted to take plus money on Lisboa. I think the best thing to do is to probably pass. And the unders are gigantically hilarious, just in case, knee doesn't like it, which that's the part I doubt. But Santos, she could go for a sub. Lisboa, maybe a fluky knockout if Santos isn't all there. She has terrible striking defense. Realistically, it's dog or pass for me. But given the long layoff, given the surgery, it's a real toughie.
I like the Luana Santos side. It's just I didn't get in on it early, and now it's minus 170. If you got in early in the week, you could have probably got minus 120, minus 130. I think she's a decent enough striker, and I think the judo is going to be a problem. I don't really love Lisboa's game, and I definitely don't love the time laying off. Like you said, TB, you're sure you're getting into good shape, but you're not. Fight shape and good shape are 2 different things. And drilling an area that you would absolutely need to put an extensive amount of pressure on your knees is not what you're going to be doing as you're just trying to get back into shape. So I like Luana Santos here. I think she's going to judo throw her 2-3 times, and that'll be that.
Judo chop. Dravy, what do you got?
Yeah, I actually like the other side on that one. So we're going to disagree a little bit and make it even more fun, But
I love that.
Yeah, I just think this line should be closer. Personally, I think Lisboa is going to get it done. Looking into this one, I've never been high on Santos. She's all right, good judo, like you guys said, but her actual wrestling is not that good. Her striking is not good. I think there's some terrible uptick in the striking. She's very hittable. I don't think her cardio is the best. Yeah, exactly, bro. She's punching just like that. So, and yeah, so I think there's a lot of, bad things in her game compared to Lisboa, where I think her striking is better. She's a Muay Thai girl. Her counter is very good, and I think that she's gonna land big shot on Santos here. Personally, she's hittable though, so Santos could land some big shot in her own. But I think on the field, Lisboa could win like 30-27, 29-28. And in the grappling, Lisboa actually has pretty good grappling for a girl that has a Muay Thai background, but her takedown defense is good, and I think her clinch game is pretty good. She has good knees, good elbows. So if Santos kind of try to go in the clinch here, I think Lisboa is gonna win the clinch, do more in the clinch, do more damage. But my worry here is that if Santos has success with the judo and get on top, I think she's better on top, and I think Lisboa doesn't have good get up. So that's my concern. I think she could get stuck on bottom, but outside of that, I think I trust her to defend takedowns for the most part. And if she's trying to grapple, that's my other worry. I think she could have success, but I think if she try to, force the grappling, she might end up on her back, because Santos is better on top. So, but again, I think if she fights smart, which I'm not sure she will, we never know, but I kind of think she needs to fight a bad fight for Santos to look good or cover her price tag. And on the other hand, I think Lisboa could win a clean fight, whether Santos look good or not. So to me, I think Lisboa is going to win this. The layoff, the knee surgery is a concern, obviously, but she took the correct time off, looking good on Instagram. But yeah, we never know, right? When these athletes take these type of surgery, they can come back and never be the same. So there's a risk on that end, but at the end of the day, that line was closer to pick him early in the week, and I think it was justified. But now that it's like plus 145, plus 150, and I'm picking Lisboa to get it done, I think she's the betting side, so I like her.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I remain super interested, especially Lisboa has fought at 145 and Santos has fought at 125.
Oh yeah, my other
dynamic.
point. Yeah. My other point is I like Santos way better at 125. She looks to be in way better shape.
It's a very good point.
She's taking it more seriously at 125, basically. At 135 against like Edgar, I know she missed weight, but still, she didn't look good. And I mean, on the feet here, people not really realizing it seems like, but I mean, Lisboa is going to lead her up on the feet. It's not really going to be close. Nope. I mean, my only concern is that she's hittable and Santos has decent power, so she could land big shot, but Lisboa is the much cleaner striker. I think she's going to counter her pretty bad.
You make a lot of interesting points. And one of the things that as I kind of think about and add context to, Luana Santos just continues to blow up between fights and like get extremely out of shape, which is really, really not good. I think she's got it looks like to me like some sort of eating disorder or something.
Yeah, she has a problem. She already addressed it. I don't remember what it's called, but she has
Hashimoto's. It's a thyroid disorder.
Oh, it's a thyroid disorder?
Oh yeah, something like that.
I thought she had an eating disorder. I don't know what she's
got. Well, I mean, like it leads to higher appetite, lower energy levels. So that's the thing.
I don't like that at all.
So you could take thyroid stimulating hormone. You could get something that helps, so you can regulate it. That might have been why she was figuring out her body in that time. I just don't like that she's going back up to 135. I guess a way bigger and way more technical fighter. And also, I think Lisboa, while I've talked about how bad her grappling defense is, I actually think her offense isn't bad. It's just the way she goes for takedowns. If she goes for the head and arm toss, I didn't like that as much, and she got rolled over. But when she went for like the outside trips off of a body lock, wasn't so bad. When she went for the double leg, wasn't so bad. So yeah, make sure if you guys want to follow Travy, he's out there on X. He's also the Beat the Line broadcast on YouTube. And yeah, with Key 3 Picks, which is going to be our guest in a couple weeks. So yeah, make sure you guys stay tuned. We're moving on. We've got Elise Willis-Reed. Shout out to the New York Knicks. Let's get it done in 6 versus Denise D. Gomez at minus 625. And by God, yeah, Elise Reed is probably outgunned here from a physicality, a power, a grappling, a wrestling perspective. But God damn it, I'm not playing minus 625 on D. Gomez here. And, shout out to, what is it, Liam or some other guys out there on the Twitterverse. The sub line, yeah, it's still slightly juicy. It's nowhere near it used to be. So is it really worth it if she hasn't really locked one in? Yeah, a lot of her upside could be on the mat. She could very well just land power on the feet versus Elise Reed. Also, I was debating Walter for like Walter White because she's like a bag of milk out there, but I like Willis Reed better for Elise. So shout out to the Taekwondo specialist. If this is a distance kicking striking battle and Gomes doesn't get into the pocket, yeah, maybe Reed has some upside there, but I'm not gonna. This feels like a pass to me. The under 2.5 could be hilarious.
I want nothing to do with this fight. Absolutely nothing. I mean,
There you
dog
go.
or pass from a money line perspective.
Good idea.
But pricing Denise Gomes like she's Mike Tyson, I don't know. There's nothing I'm really interested in. Sure, Reed could just be out muscled, but
Moment of
so
silence.
Good. I'm so good on this.
Dravey, what do you got?
You think she just gets folded over?
I'm on the same side as you, Guru, on that one. I don't have much to say. I think Gomez should be fine, but at the same time, she's not the type of girl I want to lay big chalk on. I think she's a volatile fighter. And, it's Pepe who mentioned the sub angle, I think, on Twitter. And basically, that's facts. I mean, normally she's like, she has no submission in her career, right? She attempts submission. Her grappling has shown to be improving. And Reed is not good on the mat, but she doesn't have any sub yet. And they're pricing her sub prop at like she's normally getting sub prop submission in her fight. So yeah, I don't like that. I think if you like that, if you want to bet that fight, just bet the under 2.5, basically betting on Gomez to potentially finish. But I think Reed by decision has some value because if they go to distance, she has a good record in decision, but I don't think she's gonna get it done. I think she's gonna lose and maybe she's gonna get finished. So I feel like if Gomez covers, she's gonna need to finish and the under is plus money. I like to do that when we have a big favorite and then the under is pick 'em or decent plus money. That's normally how they cover. She could just win. I don't think she win 30-27 if it go to distance. I think she win 29-28 and she's not gonna cover. So yeah, I think the under or maybe Gomez KO or some shit. She's gonna throw hard and Reed has shown to not be that durable and she's always getting finished when she loses. So that's something to take note of.
Wow. All right. I love it. All right. We've got Hyung Sung Park, Peace of Mind, versus Carlitos Way Hernandez. Dravey, what do you got here? I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think Hernandez is another dog of the week. I've seen really popular. I like these underdog, right? I really do. But on this one, I actually like the favorite more. I like the Park side.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did the full 360 there. Never saw that coming, right?
Yeah. No, what?
Yeah, I like the Park side here, and I just think there's just way more upside on this side, right? I give him all the finishing upside. I think he could win dominant. I think he could take the back, submit him. I think he could land big shot on the feet and hurt Hernandez. And, if they go the distance, it could be close. But I think Park could potentially win 30-27, which I'm certain Hernandez is not. I think Hernandez, if you win this, it's going to be a decision, but a really close decision, 29-28, like he normally does. He's not a guy that has, he's always fighting on close margin. He's never separating, win or lose. But when he's losing, sometimes he get finished, sometimes he get dominated. But here on this one, I just feel like Park, even though he's not really fought these, competition, that's a step up for him. He has shown me to be good with what I've seen. But he's a guy that will be a fade he will be a fade one day because I think his chin is a bit suspect, but he's gonna be fine here. Hernandez has no power, right? So I think on the feet, he's gonna be the stronger guy that's gonna land the bigger shot and it's gonna do more damage and win the moments. Hernandez is gonna win some minutes on the feet, don't get me wrong, but I think Park's gonna win the moment and the minute in the grappling. And I think he's gonna take the back and he could submit him in round 2-3. But I'm gonna predict him to win a decision. But yeah, I disagree with the Hernandez dog shot this week. Man, I understand them because of the experience, because of Park layoff, because of all that, the step up in competition. But Hernandez is just not that great to me. He's a guy that's always going to win these 29-28 type close decision. And to back a guy like that against a guy that I gave finishing upside against, I need a bigger price. Now I feel like the price is probably accurate on the Park side around minus 180. I think that's probably where he should be.
Yeah, the line had bumped all the way back. There was some early Russia line movement I thought I had felt good. I got like plus 162 on Carlos Hernandez, and the line had dropped like almost to even pick him, and it's just kind of catapulted its way right back up. So yeah, I think you have an interesting point, and it's kind of what I kind of came to the conclusion to as well. Is just that Carlos Hernandez is just not really fucking very good at all, and that Hyuk-Sung Park, while he has some holes that I would love to see exploited, and hey, another undefeated fighter could, like, the undefeated fighters this year have not been doing too well. Not that that has anything to do with this matchup, but you never know. 2 undefeated fighters on this card. I just feel like, he's got more of the upside. And Carlos Hernandez, has he ever really been good? Like, has he done anything good in his entire UFC career? Didn't he, like, he gets the split decision win on Contender Series to even get here? It's just very strange stuff. So,
Do you think Carlos is tired of
fighting Asians?
Yeah.
Probably not. His racist ass loves it. He probably just asks, only give me Asians.
I mean, narrative-wise, it's not great. They're using Hernandez always to try to build these prospects, which I don't like, obviously. Yeah. I'm not really a narrative guy, but sometimes when everything fit into your capping, it's just a little plus to have in your pocket. So,
yeah, sounds like we don't need Hernandez. Maybe it's
I think it's Lisboa. I think it's Lisboa and not Hernandez.
This is Lesbos. I love it. I tried saying this.
I like Lisboa way more than I do Hernandez, especially at similar prices.
Very interesting. All right, we are moving on. We've got our opening fight of the evening. We've got the tiny tornado, Tisha Pennington. She lost the alliteration in her name by going from Torres to Pennington. It's a shame, but it's what happened. Luana Powerbar Pinheiro. This is kind of more tongue-in-cheek on the nickname. She's the opposite of the power bar. She's like what happens if you just throw a lot of strikes at air on UFC 5 and like your power bar is completely dipped by the time you're in round 2. That's the Luana Pinheiro experience. So Tisha Pennington, I think she's going to be way faster. She's going to land way more volume of strikes. The upside for Pinheiro is getting takedowns and getting control time. And Pennington is not necessarily great at actually like separating and getting away from some of those control opportunities, but she's still going to win a decision, and it's a disgusting price. So I'm okay with just kind of settling in, seeing what happens. Maybe after round 1, you can get like a minus 150 or a minus 130 on Tisha. Maybe she gets taken down. And then you have my interest. At this point, though, I'll see you guys for the second fight.
I'm about as interested in this fight as I was the Gomes and Reed fight. I mean, there's just nothing here. The line is absolutely ridiculous. Why is Tisha Torres minus 400, 300 to anybody? She's not finishing anybody. It's going to be a close striking battle. Luana gets tired. Sure, why not? But, I mean, her losses are to whom? Jillian Robertson, Angela Hill, and Amanda Ribas.
Wow, was that the correct usage of whom versus who as well?
That's impressive. I know. I can do that.
That's actually wow. You have that in your bag?
I do.
That's crazy. All right, I didn't know that about your game, Guru.
Yeah. So honestly, dog or pet? I kind of would be of the dogs. If I had to bet one, if you had a gun to my head and said either bet Elise Reed or Luana Pinheiro, I think I'd bet Luana Pinheiro. So. But I'm not going to. So
son of a bitch, I got the gun on you. What are you doing?
I was about to say, I hope they don't put a gun to your head and make you bet one of these fights, because I don't want to be in this position. Let me tell you that. But yeah, I mean, you guys are right. It's a fight to pass on personally. I mean, there's value on Pinheiro because Pennington never really separates. She's always in close fight when she wins. She's a 29-28 decision girl. So you don't want to bet that at big chalk. And I feel like Pinheiro could win around here. So, yeah, I don't mind Pinheiro decision or some shit if you want to get crazy. But looking at it, it's like it's really more of a value play if you take a shot, because I think Pennington's going to win. But it's just such an ugly fight, man. I mean, it really is. So sometimes it's fine to pass. We don't need to bet on every fight, right? So Pennington decision, but no value on anything on her side. So if you think Pinheiro could potentially win 2 rounds, Then maybe you go Pinheiro decision. I think it's what 5 or 6. I think it's around 5-1 or some shit. I don't think she finished Pennington, so yeah, I don't think it's bad. But yeah, again, it's a fight where I think the line's a bit wide. But if you bet Pinheiro when she was like plus 350 range, then I think it was a good bet. But now she's what, plus 270 range, something like that. I feel like I will put maybe Pinheiro, maybe Pennington, minus 250, minus 300. So there's value. There's a little bit of value at plus 280, but not enough for me to bet, especially when I don't have a strong read on it.
But I have a gun to your head.
I'm just gonna run them. I run pretty fast.
Said you might as well just call it at that point.
Right? It's so good.
Making me. But yeah, so ultimately, we hope you guys had some fun, because I know I did. Live every Thursday. Time to be determined. We're definitely always on time, though. Whatever we say, we're exactly on the dot every week. So make sure you guys are following the best bets, the best guests, always free picks, and seriously had such a great time. Shout out to all you guys. Make sure you're doing the right thing. Like and subscribe. It costs you nothing, and I'd be judging you heavily if you didn't do the right thing by this point. So, Dravy, before we pass it off to the guru for the proper outro, what do you got to say to the people? Where can they find you?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. It was a fun podcast, because I don't think this card is the best to talk about, so we made it fun. So that's a plus for the viewers.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Dravy __ on Twitter. You can follow me there. It's linked just under under here. And yeah, I mean, I post free bet. I post a free bet every week on my Twitter. I post some, I talk about fights with people. I engage with you guys on there. But if you want my picks, my bets, it's on oddchoppers.com. You can DM me on Twitter, and I'll hook you up with a promo code on your first month. Profitable 34 unit this year with a 14 units ROI. So doing my thing, you guys can cash with me and win on a long term. I've been tracking my bet the last 3 years. Been out there on Twitter posting everything. So it's all tracked. It's no fake result, no fake shit. I don't do that. And yeah, Beat the Line broadcast on YouTube, where me, Key, and Peg, we all go live every week. We break down these fights. We have some fun. Give out some of our bets as well. So you guys can follow us on YouTube. And yeah, I mean, thanks for having me again. Not the best card, but I think there's money to be made. And if I make a couple thousand on this card, then if it's not if it's not a good card for the fights, I'll be happy, because I made money. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And sometimes these fights, when we sleep on them, when we think it's going to be bad, end up being like bangers. So people said 315 last week. I went there. It was my first event, right? Been there for my Canadian.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, that fight card was crazy, right? So yeah, I think this one could be underrated, but yeah, some money to be made as always. I think it's a good one for money line. So yeah, I have 5 money lines. I have, I think, 4 props on it. Hit me up on Twitter, and I'll hook you up with something.
That's awesome, dude. We'll be at 316. So
nice.
Back to back.
Maybe a big one.
Yeah, it should be really good.
Nick versus Mario Batista also.
Yeah, Patrick.
I love it. That was actually a good addition.
That's an upgrade.
True.
So, yeah, awesome. Seriously, thank you so much for being here, Dravy. Really, really appreciate you. I'm sure we'll have you back again. Guys, make sure you're following Dravy. Make sure you're following my unbelievable co-host, TB Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Pickett, Instagram, Tapology, and BetMMA. And you can follow me, the Guru Scouting MMA, over on Twitter, Pickett, Verdict, Instagram, Tapology, and BetMMA. Be safe out there, guys. We are taking a break next week. You got Memorial Day. Stay safe out there. Support your troops. All that good stuff. Enjoy the day off of work. We'll be back a week later.